In this video I would like to show you 3 ways to set up the mobile builder on a fresh Ubuntu LTS system. I'm going to show it only for Android, but iOS apps are possible as well. I'm using VMs with 8GB of RAM. 4GB should be possible too, but below that I can't guarantee that it works reliable. Let's take a look at the first way to set it up. Here I'm going to use our installation script. You probably saw this before here in our quick install section. You can just take these 3 lines and perhaps change node to 18. I'm going to do this and just skip ahead. Now you are prompted for some installation options, such like you can create a new user, decide which port is used, and so on. If you use the Y option, like that, a default set of options will be applied, but for now we are going just with this command. We are going with a new user. The script will set up a Postgres database for you, and the server runs in the background as a systemd service on port 80. These are just the standard values you would get if you use the Y option here. Here at last is the new part to set up the mobile builder Docker image. If you just hit enter, you accept, and you get some options, rootless or standard mode. The rootless mode allows you to access Docker commands without having root access rights. So for now, let's just go with this mode. Hit enter and your password will be required. And the installation is running. The installation takes some minutes, and at the end you should see a screen like this. I believe most of the time goes into pulling the Docker image, and you will see a lot of this extracting pull log messages. If this Docker step fails, it won't corrupt your normal server installation. It's an optional step, and you could set it up later too if you encounter any problems here in the script. If everything went well, you can already create your first mobile application. Open your local host URL. Let's create a new user. Call it admin. Whatever. And you will need a view which will open up first when you open the app on your phone. So let's create a view. For now we don't have any tables but the users table, but we can use this one too. Let's call it entry view and just take it with all the default values. It's almost empty, but this is just for a demonstration. Right now what you see is drawn with the sbadmin2 module. sbadmin works on mobile but isn't that much optimized for it. So let's install another module and draw our view with any bootstrap theme. Let's open the Builder menu. You can find it under Settings, About Application, and click Mobile App. On the top you see our entry point, which we just created, Entry View. You can build for Android with or without Docker. And you could build for iOS, but for iOS you will need an actual physical Mac. So let's just go with Android for now. You can choose an app name. Let's go with mobile app. Make your app unique. Perhaps the name in reverse. And if you want to publish your app to the Play Store or App Store, I guess you should start with a version like that, because from then you can only go up. For the server URL, select the base path of your installation. For example, if you have something like this, take this part and add it here. In some cases you need to add the port if it's not 80, but this depends completely on your deployment. If you want to build an app which runs in the Android emulator, you need to add this URL. Just check it, yes. This allows you to access the local host of your host machine from within the Android emulator. So let's just go with this for now. The app icon will be used as your launcher. Right now we can't select anything, but when you upload image files to your server, you will see them here. This page shows up while the app is initializing. Here you will see pages you've just created the normal way. I guess you just should create simple pages with an image and some text here. I want to skip these two checkboxes for now. Perhaps I'm going to make another tutorial later on for the offline mode. The plugin selector allows you to choose modules which will be bundled into your app file. Right now we have only one module installed from before any Bootstrap theme. And you could move it over to excluded, included, just like that. This way you can select modules which are really needed on the app side. For example, a module like CS4 export could be only a server thing and you could exclude it here. Furthermore, some modules don't work on mobile, so they could cause the build to crash, or you get a one-time error while running the app, so you could exclude them here too. Next, select the build type. For Android, the debug option will create an application bundle. APKs can easily be installed on an emulator or directly on your phone. If you select the release option, you will get an Android application bundle. If you want to upload your app to the Play Store, you will need this option and you will get an AIB file. At the bottom, you see a configuration box for Android and one for iOS. Let's take a look at Android first. We can see that the Docker pull from the beginning was successful. Otherwise, it shows a red cross right here. If you choose the release build type and you want to upload your AAB file, you have to sign it. For this, you can fill out these 3 inputs. I've written a small help window for this. I guess you can just look at it and follow the steps right here. For now, we only need an APK to see that everything works, and we get a file which can quickly be inspected on your device or an emulator. So let's switch over to debug and click the build button. The build takes some minutes, and at the end you should see a link to the app file. Here you can download your APK, or in case of release the AAB file, or take a look at the output of the build right here. It should look like this, and if it fails, you get a link to an errors file. The second way to set it up is keeping the current user, use standard Docker mode, and add your user to the Docker group. Again, we are going over the installation script right here. Let's just execute it and skip ahead. Again, we are prompted for install options. This time, let's go with the current user. Same database, server mode, port, and yes, we want Docker. But this time we are going with the standard mode and we need access rights for this. So the script is prompting you to add the current user to the Docker group and we accept this. Again, if you see any errors here at the last step or if it keeps hanging for some reason while showing these log messages, you can just cancel it because it's an optional step and it won't corrupt your normal installation. But if you see a screen like this, you can go again to your local host, log in, and check that your mobile builder is ready to go. Scroll down and you will see the green check mark. Another way to set it up is to not use Docker but use your own Android SDK. You can install your SDK with Android Studio or use the command line. As a guideline which commands are necessary, you can take a look at the Docker file itself, which is here under Packages, Mobile Builder, Docker, and Open Docker file. You don't need all commands from this file, but let's take a look at the most important parts. Of course, you need a Java JDK, so run these 3 lines here without the 1 or env prefix. These are just for Docker, and you probably need sudo to run these commands here. After this, take a look at this block. Here you are setting up your Android SDK. So download it, unzip it, and put it in a place where the user who is running your server process can access it. After this, run these lines here, and this should take some time to download it, and after this your SDK should be ready to go. A Gradle installation is required as well. With this line you can download and unzip it into your app directory. Again, you have to make sure that the user running your server process has access to this file. You can skip this block until to this block, but take a look at these environment settings. I'm going to show you later how you can integrate them into your server process, so keep them in mind for now. Before we make any further configurations, let's see what happens if we run a build right now. So let's select Android, uncheck this box, keep all the defaults, and enter a URL just to make the validation check happy. Build for debug and click build. We are getting a warning right now because we are using the SPAdmin2 module to draw our pages, but for now that's not important. It fails and we are getting error logs. Open them, scroll down, and you will see the environment settings for Android Home and Android SDK root are undefined in your background server process, and this results in an error. Next, I'm going to show you how you can define them. This command gives you the content of your service unit configuration file. So this is the default content, and at the top you see the path to the file. To make it work with your own Android SDK, we have to add some edits. I'm going to change it now and show you the new version. After editing, the file looks like this. I've changed the environment block and the exit start block. In the environment, I added 4 new settings: Android SDK root, Android home, Gradle home, and this is an optional setting which could speed up the build. In exit start, we are extending our path so that our process can access the Gradle command. We can't do it the normal way here in the environment because we are using parameter expansion to keep the old path and add our new stuff here, and parameter expansion doesn't really work here in the environment block. Now when we look again at our CFG content, we already see the new file, but with the warning on top that the file changed on disk and we have to reload to apply it. So let's do this once. Check the content again and the warning goes away. Now you should be ready to build an app with your own SDK. Let's go back 2 steps to the build menu and hit the button again. After some minutes you should see this build results. Let's take a look at the logs. And down at the bottom you don't see these error messages anymore. I hope this video was helpful. I believe these 3 ways are the most important scenarios. Of course, there are more cases you could run into, like you have already a running system or you want to build for iOS on a Mac system. Perhaps I'm going to make more videos about this.